Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks a lot for making a little time out of your day to watch the video. It's always appreciated. Today we're going to be talking about Squarebill crankbait sizes, and the reason I wanted to do this is I consider March sort of like the beginning of the year for Squarebill crankbaits. March, April, May, on up through next fall, this Squarebill crankbaits come into play big time, and actually my favorite time to fish them is in March and April. I catch more big ones on them in March and April than any other time. So what I want to do, guys, I want to go through the three different sizes of Squarebills and sort of tell you the applications and when they work the best. So real quick before we get started, guys, I just want to invite everybody, if you guys are interested in becoming a member of the channel, it's a good way to support the channel. As members, you get extra videos that aren't seen by the public every week and access to my personal email address for your fishing questions. If you're interested, just when you go to my YouTube channel, at the bottom right corner, you'll see a little play button icon. And just if you push that, it says Intuitive Memberships, and it gives you the information for that. So much appreciated. Okay, guys, we'll get into this a little bit here. There's three different sizes of Squarebill crankbaits, and I want to talk about the size for each one of them. First of all, you've got your 3-inch sizes, the larger Squarebills, 3 inches is a normal size. And then you've got your medium size one. This is the S-Crank 1.5 megabass. And then you've got a smaller version, the smallest size, which is the 1.2 megabass. So most companies make, at least 2 different sizes of Squarebill crankbaits. It just depends on the company. So I want to talk a little bit about, we'll go big and then we'll go down to small and sort of tell you the times you want to use it. Starting out, guys, we've talked about Squarebills before, so some of this stuff you may have heard a little bit, but you've never heard it put into this context before. But starting out in early in the year, like in March, April, and into May, I go with the big ones, guys. I like the 3-inch one, the larger size Squarebill. If you guys have watched the channel much, you'd know that I talk about using bigger baits in the springtime. That's one of the reasons too. Another reason is in the springtime of the year, especially in early spring, a lot of the bass are not conditioned too much to bait yet. They're sort of like, they haven't been fished for as much as they do other times of year, and you can get away with going bigger. So the combination of the fish not being real educated early in the season, the combination of the water temperature starting to become up in the 50s and the forage is larger, the bigger Squarebills are going to work better. And by the way, these you can get these all at Baitworks. I'll put the link in the description. They're Megabass S-Cranks here. So usually in those conditions right there, when I'm using the bigger Squarebill, I'm fishing it around some type of rock. Rocky banks, riprap banks, maybe paralleling seawalls, that type of stuff. But I like to be bouncing it off rock this time of year. Rick Clunn made this thing famous back in the early 2000s. He won a series of tournaments early in the year, like in March and April, on a big Squarebill crankbait, cranking different type of rocky, gravelly type banks. So the rock composition, it can be a lot of different things. It can be short bluffs. It can be, boulder sized rock. It can be, rocks like the big as your fist or a bowling ball. And it can even be gravel. But basically hard structure with a big Squarebill crankbait is going to be really good in March, April, and May. Now, in starting to get like in June, when the summertime comes up, that's when I go to the medium size, the 1.5 size here. The medium size one, it's like as you get into summer, bass are getting more conditioned, they get a little bit more bait sensitive, and there's starting to be a couple different shad spawns that have occurred, so that a lot of the bait fish are smaller. And I get a lot of bites, guys, on the mid-size one. Now, this is probably the most common size, and most Squarebill companies out there this is the size that sells the most right here. And from about, June into probably June, July, probably about like the end of August. This is my favorite one right here. And the difference that you notice a little bit in the summertime when you're using these Squarebills is the wood starts to come into play a little bit more. So in the pre-spawn, like this time of year, I'm cranking, those big Squarebills on rock. Over the summertime, I'm moving to the wood, around stumps, around laydowns, flooded cover, around dock corners, anything like that. But wood starts to come into play. And also you'll notice in the summertime of the year, the water clarity starts coming into play where you need a little bit dirty water. Now in the pre-spawn, like this time of year, you can get by with a little bit cleaner water because you're fishing rock, and a lot of times I'm not using heavier line. I'm using like 12, 15 pound test to get it down 4 or 5 feet. But in the summertime, when I'm going to the little bit smaller size, I'm using heavier line. I'm using 15 to 20 pound test line and trying to bounce it off objects. You know, that's the big key. And again, this is right here. I like a perch pattern in the summertime. You know, bass feed heavily on perch in the summer. So the mid-sized perch pattern is going to be really productive. Now, in the fall time of the year, from about September on into November, I don't use a Squarebill much after November. Like September, October, November, that's when I go little, guys. This is when I'm going to the small size. Now, here's the difference. Like both of these are S cranks, and you can see the size comparison on the two here. I'm going small in the fall time. When you're crankbait fishing, guys, now this is not just for Squarebills, but it's for any crankbait. You always catch a lot more fish, and even quality fish, in the fall time of the year on a small crankbait. So that's when I'm downsizing a little bit. One of the reasons I do this is, well, like several of the reasons. Number one, you've got a combination of the bass are highly educated by fall. They've been beat on all spring, all summer. Water levels are usually starting to recede a little bit, and there's a lot of small bait fish in the lake. The shad have been spawning since May, so you've got a lot of small bait fish. Those combinations combined, you just get more bites on a small one. Now, in the fall time of the year, there's a diversity of cover that works. You catch a lot of fish on, shallow rock, shallow wood, same type of deal. You can catch it either or. But again, I'm just like the summertime, I'm hunting for that dirty water. One of the things you're going to find out about in September and October is I try to find the dirtiest water in the lake, where it's got the shallowest cover, whether it be wood or rock. And that's when I'm throwing the little Squarebill, and I'm still going heavy on the line. I'm using 15 to 20 pound test, and usually a pretty fast retrieve. Another thing real quick about the Squarebill retrieves, let the water temperature dictate your speed of retrieve. In the pre-spawn this time of year, I usually go, a fairly slow, medium retrieve, like just, letting it wobble slow through the water. And as the summer goes on, I pick up my retrieve, and it gets faster and faster throughout the summer and the fall. So anyway, guys, that's the 3 sizes there. You got the big mama here, you got the medium size, and the little junior. There's a place and time for all of them. Squarebills have been around since the 1970s. They're still as productive as they ever been. So it's a good thing to add to your arsenal. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.